Hi guys, welcome to the first video on the PHP chapter and the MySQL chapter. In this first video I'm going to give you a little introduction to PHP and MySQL. So if you want, as in the other chapters, you can go to Wikipedia and visit the PHP page and read all this if you want to, all the first paragraphs. PHP for me is nowadays one of the most powerful programming languages on the web. Simple as that. Okay, so if you want to learn PHP, or if you learn PHP, you'll be able to create whatever you want as application on the web or as a website on the web with login systems, register, databases. Basically, PHP, you can say, is the best programming language to connect to the MySQL database. That's why usually we talk PHP. When we talk about PHP, we always talk about MySQL because they are connected with each other. They connect very well. PHP is a programming language, MySQL is a database, and that's why this chapter is dedicated to both of them. Okay, we will learn how to connect to the MySQL database using PHP and how to store things on the database, how to retrieve information from the database. PHP does all that. So it's a very, very powerful programming language and a very powerful part of web development nowadays. Now, I'm just going to show you a little presentation that I have here. PHP chapter, we will handle forms. We will learn how to make logins, how to make register forms, how to upload files like you upload pictures to Facebook, let's say, how to do all that, how we work with sessions, cookies, how to work with the MySQL database, and how to work with object-oriented programming. Now I'm going to show you a little example how PHP works. Now let's say I have my browser and I'm completing a form and I send the form to the website. The website is basically a bunch of files that are stored in a server. So the information that I have on the form will be sent to the server. The query.php that I have here is a file that will have code, PHP code, to handle and store that information on a MySQL database. Okay, so you will see that whenever we create code or PHP code in a file, as we do with CSS or HTML, we have to create a .php file. Okay, so let's say query.php file handles all the data from the form and is stored on the MySQL database. Okay, and you can say that if you want to retrieve in the browser, let's say I want to see the database, the data that I have sent, or confirm that I have sent that data, and let me see if it is stored on the MySQL database of the server. So the query also retrieves information from the MySQL server and shows it to me on the browser. Okay, so basically it works with requests, either to show it on the browser or to send information from the browser to store in the MySQL database. Okay, so it works both ways, and I'm going to show you all that during this chapter. Don't worry. And basically this is it. After this chapter, you will get you'll be very, very powerful regarding web development, because as I told you before, with PHP you basically can do anything. Okay guys, so see you guys on the next video. If you have any questions, send me a message or post your questions on the comment section. Okay, see you. And type XAMPP, and you have here the Apache friends XAMPP, Click that, and you have different versions of XAMPP for Linux, for Windows, for Mac OS X, Solaris, and we are going to download the Windows version. Okay, this is the complete package. Apache server, Mysql database, PHP 5.3.5, the last version of PHP, Phpmyadmin, FileZilla FTP server, Tomcat. So this is what you have to download. XAMPP here, the installer. Okay, so click here the installer, and you should have. And now to start, every time we start a PHP file, we have to type Php tags, which are these ones. Okay, this is how we define where the PHP code goes. Okay, so this is the symbol less than that you already know. Next, a question mark, and then type PHP. Okay, and to close it, you type the question mark again and the bigger than. Okay, between those marks we can type all our PHP code. So we're gonna type a single syntax, which is echo. We're gonna output something to the web page. Echo hello world. Okay. Let's save this and save as. And remember where I told you should save all your PHP files? That's it, in your htdocs directory inside the XAMPP directory. So let's go to XAMPP and htdocs, and now let's save this file as test.php. As you'd imagine, every PHP file has to have the extension .php. Okay, so let's save that. And now Notepad, you see the fonts colors changed, and that's because Notepad recognizes now this as a PHP code. And echo hello world, we use echo to output a string to the web page. Okay, as we did in JavaScript. Remember to output something in JavaScript, we did document.write. Okay, but in PHP that doesn't work. Okay, to output something we have to type echo and then a string between double quotes. Okay, which is hello world. You can type whatever you want now if you want to type anything else. And then don't forget to end the string with semicolon. Okay. So remember, in my JavaScript tutorials or in the HTML tutorials, we could run the code directly here. We did run and then run in Chrome, for example. Okay, and then the code would run. But in this case, that doesn't work. Okay, we have to go manually to the browser. Okay, and in the browser, let's go to the browser again. Okay, in the browser here in the URL we have to type http://localhost. Okay, localhost means your local server. Okay, and now we have a local server, right? The Apache server that the XAMPP package has, and we have a local server running, and localhost basically goes directly to that server, and in that server we have the XAMPP directory, and inside the XAMPP directory we have the famous htdocs directory with all our PHP files saved. So basically what I'm saying here is localhost, we are now inside the htdocs directory, and now we have to type after this slash here, we type the name of the document or the PHP file that we want to run. So I want to run this file here, test.php. Okay, so we type test.php. We click enter, and now we have the result of the code. Okay, the output hello world. Okay, so this is how we run a PHP file or the PHP code. We have to type manually localhost / and the name of the file where the code is, okay, to run it. So basically that's it for this video. You know now how install an Apache server in your computer and MySQL database that we are going to use later on in this course, and also how to output something in your web page, a simple output as using echo. Okay, so see you guys in the next video, and don't forget to subscribe to my OnClick tutorials channel. Bye. I want to tell you that whenever you have any kind of doubt about something or that I showed you in my videos, you can go to php.net, okay, which is very cool resource web page to search for whatever you need to know about PHP. Okay, it's the official PHP website, and you have a complete manual here with a lot of examples and a lot of scripts to do whatever you want to do with PHP. Okay, so you already know also W3 Schools that you can search also PHP tutorials there. Okay. Okay, this is it. You can search here PHP. Where is it? PHP. Okay. So whenever you have a doubt, you can send me a message, or you can search here in this in these websites. Okay. So to start, let's open Notepad++. So we have here all different kinds of data, types of data that we can we have in PHP. So we have 4 scalar types: Boolean, integer, float, and string. 2 compound types: array and object, and finally 2 special types: resource and null. Okay, I'm going to talk about all these types of data. So to start, what is Boolean? Boolean, simple. It's very simple. Boolean, it's, remember some of you guys who did my JavaScript tutorial series, remember when we did if statements, okay, if else statements, and we return a result true or false of those statements. And if it was true, you did some, you execute a code. If it was false, you did some other stuff. Okay, so this basically is, we have 2 types of result in the Boolean type of data. It's true or false. Simple as that. Okay, this is a Boolean type of data, true or false. So integer is basically it's a number. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. This is an integer. 1 is an integer. 2 is an integer. 3 is an integer. Negative numbers are integers as well. Okay. Oops. 5 minus 5 is an integer. Okay. 3 are integers. Okay. Some of you guys possibly are asking yourselves, what about 3.256? Well, these are considered floats. Okay. So let's type here a number. You already know that a number 1, 2, 3, negative number as well. And float numbers are numbers with a decimal number with dots, 1.253 or 1.1. Okay, these are float numbers. And a string that you already know is basically is we use double quotes, and basically a string is hello world, for example. okay, that we typed in the previous video, or we can also type some other stuff, okay, integer, oops, no, string, okay. Okay, so now we already know the four scalar types of PHP, okay, the Boolean, the integer, the floats, and the string, okay. In the next video we are going to learn how to use arrays, and also we'll talk a little bit about objects as well. But basically this is it for this video, okay. I just want you to remember these four types because we're going to use them a lot, okay, in my tutorials. So see you guys in the next video. We will start in the next video to introduce you to the arrays, okay. So see you guys later, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel on Click Tutorials. Bye. Open your notepad. Okay, so we talked about the four scalar types, and we now going to talk about arrays, okay. And later on we're going to talk about objects in this video or in the next one. So let's open a new file. Oops. Let's click here, new, okay. And let's put here the PHP tags, start doing some code. I forgot to mention you guys about the variables in PHP. So we're going to do a little, before we start doing some arrays, I'm going to teach you how to use variables, simple variables in PHP. So let's save this as, let's say vars.php, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so to do a variable in PHP, we type the dollar symbol, and then we type, let's say, the var, okay, equals, let's say, hello world, okay. Now we have a variable named var with this string here, hello world, and now I want to output this string here, okay. So to output that string, I type echo, okay, and the name of the variable, which is the $sign and var, and end it with semicolon, okay. Save this, and now don't forget that you can't, if you go here and launch it in Chrome, it will not work, okay. The code will appear as we typed it in the notepad, you see, but it will not run. So to do that, I already told you that we have to type localhost and the name of the file, which was, let's see the name, I think it was vars, yeah, htdocs vars, that's it. So let's type vars.php, enter, there it is, okay, hello world. So we're using a variable, okay. So to make a variable, I can, you don't have to type var, okay.
you can give the variable a name, whatever name you want, just simply just by typing after the dollar symbol. Okay, so you have always to put the dollar symbol before a variable and then the name you want for the variable. So let's type Victor. Okay, so save this, and now we have to change this to Victor. Okay, so variables have always the symbol, the dollar symbol before the name of the variable. Okay, let's save this. Let's see if it works. Where is my browser? Here it is. Refresh, and there it is. Okay, it works. If I change here, let's type here, hello, Victor. Refresh that, and there it is. Hello, Victor. Okay, so now we know how to output data from inside a variable. Okay. So remember I told you about the different types of data there are. We had the Boolean, true, false, the integer, float, and the string. So from these four, now what we did now was string, right? But we can type float numbers or integers. Okay, if I type here 1, 2, 3, okay, this is an integer. Okay, and I can output that number as well. This is an integer. Okay, so now you see how basically variables work and how we can take the variables and output the value that is or the data that is stored in the variable. Okay, so now we're going to start talking about arrays. Okay, so arrays are basically you can think of arrays as lists of something. Okay, and we use those lists to organize whatever you want to organize. So, for example, I want to do an array for I don't know, users. Okay, so we would have user name 1, username 2, username 3, username 4, and each of that user would have a password. Okay, so let's type a simple array first. Okay, and then we'll go for more advanced features on arrays. So to start doing an array, basically what we type is the dollar symbol, okay, because we have to start with a variable, r equals array. Okay, and now between parentheses we type, let's say for example 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, numerical, these are the values that we will store inside the array. Okay, numerical values. Okay, so integers. And now at the end we have to type always a semicolon. Okay, so here you can I put R, but you can name this as let's say list of let's put numbers. Okay, numbers. Okay, so we have an array called inside a variable called numbers. So to use that array, or if we want to use or echo one of those integers inside the array, we have to type for example echo, and for example I want to output the number 3. Okay, so we have to type echo the name of the variable numbers and square brackets, and inside square brackets we have to type the number 2. Okay, semicolon. Now save this. Why do I put here number 2? Because supposedly number 2 would output the number 2, okay, in order of the array, number 1, number 2. But in programming languages, as I told you before, in JavaScript as well, in programming languages, always the order of the numbers, or the programming language reads this like the 1 as a 0, and then 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because any numerical list, or any time the programming language has to read numerical value, it reads first, or it starts first with the 0. Okay, so this would be 0, 1, and 2. Okay, so 2 is this value here. Okay, so number 2 will output whatever we type or whatever it is stored here. Okay, so in this case it will output number 3. Let's see if it works. And let's open this, refresh, and there it is, number 3. Okay, if I want number 1 to appear, I have to type here 0. Okay, let's see if it works, and the 1 should appear. There it is. Okay, guys, so instead of numbers or integers, let's type for example strings. Okay, so in this case I would have let's say names of users. So the first user would have my name, Victor, the second, Alex, the third, Matt, and let's put one more, and let's say Bill. Okay, that's it. That's enough. So we have a string as the first name of the list, which is Victor, a second string, Alex, third string, Matt, and fourth string, Bill. Okay, but as I told you, the programming language reads this as the 0 string, 1 string, 2 string, and the third string. Okay, so Victor is, if we want to output Victor, we have to type 0. So there it is, 0. Let's see if this works, and refresh, and there it is, Victor. Okay, if we want to output Alex, we type 1. Okay, here, and there it is, Alex. Okay, there is another way that you can do arrays. So I'm going to do another array, which is, I'm going to do the same array, okay, that we have here, but in some other way, which is numbers, and now I type 0 equals, the first name was Victor, right? Now numbers 1. Okay, you see I'm doing the same array or the same list, but in order. Okay, and I can go on and do an infinite list. Okay, like this. And now I do whatever the name was, Matt. So now if I want to echo, I echo numbers 1, for example, which is Alex. Save this and refresh, and there it is. Okay, so you see we have more than one. I prefer the other type of doing arrays, okay, but you can do an array like this as well. Okay, so this is it for this video. Now you know how to do variables and how to make arrays, simple arrays, and we call these arrays that we learn now the one-dimension arrays. Okay, and in the next video we are going to learn also multi-dimension arrays. Okay, so see you guys in the next video, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye. So I forgot to mention you guys in the last video that you can use in the same array, you can use either strings or integers. Okay, you can use them all in the same array as values. Okay, that doesn't matter. Of course, you can echo the position 0, which is Victor, and will output Victor. And if you if you echo the position 1, in this case, the output should be number 1, okay? And in this case, number 2 should be, the output should be the number 2, the integer 2, okay? So basically, you can build an array with strings and integers. There's no problem. Okay. So now we're gonna learn how to build an associative array. Okay, and start an associative array. We build a normal array with, let's say, users equal array, parentheses, and now let's type Victor, and as the second value let's type Bill. Okay, so we have an array, a simple array with two values, value 0. Okay, remember the first value is always number 0. Okay, so we have value 0 with the string Victor, and value 1 with the string Bill. Okay. Now, what I want to do is to give a new value to output, instead of Victor, output some other value, and we do that with this symbol here, which is equal and bigger than, and then we type some other name, let's say Matt. Okay, and we can give some associative value as well to Bill. Let's say Matt, let's say Joe. Okay, so now to output those new associative values, we have to type echo users square brackets, and inside square brackets we type the first name that is in the value, which is the first string is Victor, so we type Victor, and Victor should output Matt. Okay, so let's see if that works. Let's open our browser. I'm using Chrome, localhost. Remember, where do you have to save your files, PHP files, right? You have to save them always in the htdocs directory, which is inside the XAMPP directory. Okay, so to run them, oops, this is not my file. My file is called vars, and there it is, Matt. Okay, so if I type here the original value, or the first value in the first string in the value, the result or the output is the associative value that we defined, okay, which is Matt in this case. See? Now if I type here Bill, the output is going to be the associative value, which is Joe. Okay, so this is how associative arrays work. We can also use numbers. For example, instead of a string, we can use numbers. So we give number 1 to the string Victor and number 2 to the string Bill. Okay, so if I type here like this, Bill, the output is going to be the integer 2. So this is how we can give new values, okay, to the original values that we have in the array, okay, and we can give new values to them, and then to output those new values, we type the original value itself, okay. So now we're gonna learn how to use multi-dimensional arrays. Okay, don't be scared about the name. It's pretty simple. And now something happened here. What the hell is this? DC register mechanic. Okay, stop. Sorry guys for that. So now we're gonna build some multi-dimensional arrays. So let's type an array users. You can call the array whatever you want, okay? Instead of users, let's call something else. Let's say students equals array parenthesis, and gonna type value 1 with Victor, and the value 2, or the value, this is value 0. And now value 1 is going to be another array, okay? So this is what multidimensional arrays are. Arrays inside other arrays, okay? And for each array we build inside another one, we are building, it's like building a new dimension. So now we have I'm building a 2-dimension array, okay? So I have a second array, and I'm going to put some values in it. Let's say Victor, let's put my age 30, okay, and 30, and now we're gonna make a new array as well. So a 3rd-dimension array, okay. So I have another array, and let's type let's type boy or girl, boy. Oops, forgot boy or girl. Okay, so we have, this is a 3-dimension array. Okay, we have 3 arrays, one each inside the other. Okay, and we can go on and go on with 4, 5, 6, 7-dimension arrays. Okay, but don't go there, because for each array you build inside the other, it's going to be more complex than to search for the values. Okay, so try to be between 2 and 4-dimension arrays. Okay, so I have 3-dimensional array here, and now if I want to output this value here, for example, girl or boy, let's output boy, and to do that we do echo the name of the array, students, and square brackets. Okay, and the first thing we have to type here, the first position number we have to type here is the position of the parent array, okay, which is this one here, and the position of that array is 0, 1. So 1. Now some more square brackets, and these second square brackets, the number we have to put in there is the position of the second array, or in this case the third array. Okay, we have first array, second array, and now the third array. And the third array is in position 0, 1. So we type here 1 as well. And now some more square brackets, and here in the last square brackets we have to type the position of the value we want to output, and we want to output boy. So boy is in position 0. Okay. So for each dimension, or for each array inside another array, we have to put a square bracket. Okay, and then the number of the position where the array is. So, and the last one is always what is the position of the value we want to output. So let's save this. Let's see if this works. Let's open the browser, and the output should be boy. There it is. Okay, it works perfectly. Okay, if for example I want to output this 30 here, we take the third dimension square brackets out, and here we have to type 0, which is the position of 30, the string 30. Okay, it's pretty simple, and here it is. Okay, now as I told you before, you can type as many arrays inside another array as you want. Okay, that means that you are building multi-dimensional arrays. Okay, and you can build 5, 6, 7, 8 dimension arrays. Okay, so I wouldn't go there, because for each array you put, it's more it will be more complex than to search for the values in it. Okay, so this is it. This is how multi-dimensional arrays work. And so if you have any questions at all, just send me a message, or you can go to see more examples of multi-dimensional arrays or associative arrays. You can go to php.net, and you'll have there a lot of examples there. So see you guys later, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Bye. Hello guys, and welcome to my 6th video tutorial on PHP. And in this video we talked in the last video about arrays, and in this video I should talk about objects, right? But the problem is, I think you still have a lot to learn before I can talk about objects. So I'm going to leave that subject for later on the course. Okay, and so let's jump to resource, and I'm going to show you a little example of what a resource is. Resource basically is whatever we connect outside PHP. Okay, whatever connections we do. So a good example of a resource is a connection to a database, or a Mysql database. Okay, we are going to learn how to make queries and how to connect to a Mysql database later on the course. Okay, I'm going to talk about all that, and you're going to learn how to connect to a database, Mysql database, and send information and store information in there with PHP. But I'm just going to give you now a little example on with this line of code. This is how we connect to MySQL database with a variable connect, and then MySQL connect, and then we type the IP address with the login, and also we have a password in the database, okay, to get in or connect. Okay, so this would be the simple line of code to connect to MySQL database. Okay, and then we could query whatever thing we want, or to send some information into the database and store that information there. Okay, about users or passwords or something. But don't worry guys, I'm going to teach you all that later on, okay, on the course. And now I'm going to talk about also the null. Okay, and null, what is null? Basically, null is when you have a variable with no value in it, or an invalid value. Okay, so for some reason that variable has some invalid value stored in it, or it doesn't have a value at all. So if you echo that variable, the result you'll have in the web page is the word null. Okay, so you'll have to go to the code and see what the hell is going on. So okay, so basically I think we talked about everything now. You know what scalar types are, the four: Boolean, integer, float, and string. Two compound types. You know how to make arrays, simple arrays and multidimensional arrays. Objects, I already told you, we're gonna leave that for later on because it's a little bit complex subject in PHP. And resource is, for example, a connection to the Mysql database. And null, it's an invalid value that a variable has. Okay, so basically I think we talked about everything here in the list. And in the next video, we are going to start talking about variables and the different types of variables that we have in PHP and how to use them. So this is all for now for this video, and see you guys in the next video. If you have any questions at all, you already know you can go to php.net and search their examples of arrays, for example, or something else. Or you can go to w3schools.com and you'll have also some examples of everything you want in PHP there. Okay, so see you guys in the next video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel on Click Tutorials. Bye. Hello guys, and welcome to my 7th video tutorial on PHP. And in this video we are going to talk about the global scope and local scope of a variable. So let's start and type a variable called x. Okay, so you know already how to make variables. We have to type always the first the dollar sign, and then we can give whatever name we want to the variable. I'm gonna call it x, and now we're gonna give a value to that variable. Or store a value into the variable. You can type strings or integers, which are numbers. So we can type everything we want basically into a variable. Okay. So let's give integer 1, okay, as a value to that variable. And now I'm going to type a function, and probably some of you guys don't know what a function is or how functions work, because you didn't saw my JavaScript video tutorials. Okay, so if you want to jump to the next video, you can go straight away to my next video. But what I recommend you guys to do is, if you didn't saw my JavaScript tutorials, or you don't know anything about JavaScript, I recommend you guys to, before you learn PHP, go back to my JavaScript tutorials and learn JavaScript. Okay, I recommend you guys always to learn JavaScript before PHP. So for you guys that already know or follow my JavaScript tutorials and know what functions are and how they work, let's type a function named test. Okay, and here we are going to type echo x, variable x. And now to run this function, or to run this code, echo x, which holds integer 1, we have to type the name of the function, right? Test, and don't forget the parentheses, and at the end semicolon. So now we will run this code here. Okay, and let's see what that does. And don't forget, guys, before you run any code in your browser, you have to run Apache and Mysql on your XAMPP control panel. Okay, so let's refresh, and we have an error. Okay, so the error says undefined variable x, and you'll have a lot of times, you'll see a lot of times this kind of error. Okay, but if you look carefully, this will be very useful to you, because normally when we have PHP errors, you have the reason of the error here, and also where the code, in which file the code is, or the error is, in which file. In this case, we have the error in the code in vars.php, and then you have, this is very important, on line 8. Okay, imagine you have 500 lines of code. Okay, if you have an error, you don't know what the error is, sorry, and you'll have a notice where the problem, or what the problem is, and you'll also have the name of the file, and the most important thing, the line, the number of the line. So line 8, we have the problem in line 8, so we know that the problem is here, and the problem says undefined variable. This means that the variable x doesn't have any value. Okay, it's a null value. Okay, so why is that? We have a value here that we gave to x, but now we want to echo that with a function, or inside a function, and it doesn't work. Okay, this happens because it's different. Give a value outside a function, it's different to give a value inside a function. Okay, and if you don't give a value inside inside a function, if you don't give a value to the variable x, it's like you don't have any value at all in x, because x inside a function, it's different from the variable x outside a function. Okay, this is one variable and this is another, even if they have the same name, right? So we call this the global scope of the variable. Okay, and if you guys know how to make comments in XHTML and in JavaScript, this is how you make comments in PHP now, okay, with these symbols. Okay, so this is a global scope of a variable, which is any value you give to a variable outside functions, and inside a function we call that local scope of a variable. Okay, so we have to give a value to echo x, we have to give a value to x first. Okay, so we have to give, let's say, 1, the same as here. Oh, instead of 1, let's change that and give 2. Now it should run. Okay, 2. Okay, you see that even if we have an x, or a variable with the same name with one integer 1, if we echo and we define a variable x with some other value, the function or the code will run the value of the variable defined inside that function. Okay, so it has nothing to do, the variables defined inside functions, from the variables outside functions, even if they have the same name. Okay, so we can define also, I don't want to go into that, but if you want to go and learn more about how to define functions, variables inside functions in PHP, you can go to php.net and search that. But I know that you can define global variables like this. Okay, so I think that means that that variable is global outside and inside a function, and you can also define static variables. Okay, I'm not sure how that works or how static variables work, but I'm not used to. Usually I don't use those kind of defined or predefined variables in functions in PHP. But if you want to learn more about that, you can go to php.net, okay? Or I think in Web3 schools you can also learn how to use or how to define different kinds of variables inside functions. So this is it. You now know how to what global scope and local scope is, okay? And if you guys have any questions at all, you can send me a message or go to php.net and search for yourself. Okay, so see you guys in the next video. And the next video we're going to learn the predefined variables that exist in PHP. Okay, so see you guys later, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye. Google.com. And I want you guys to go to php.net. Okay, let's go to documentation here. And let's go to English here. So we are now in the manual. And in the manual, let's search for variables here. Okay, and in the variables, I want you guys to go to predefined variables. Okay, so predefined variables basically is variables that are already built in by default or predefined by default in PHP. Okay, and I want to show you a list of those variables. If predefined variables, I think this is it. Yeah, okay. So these are the predefined variables you have in PHP. Okay, you see they start always with a dollar symbol. Okay, and every one or each one of these variables have their own function. Okay, or values. So let's go to superglobals. And as you see, it says superglobals are built-in variables that are always available in all scopes. Okay. Remember for the last video that we learned what is a global scope and a local scope, right? So these superglobals work in all scopes. So they work inside functions or outside functions or in every sense in PHP. Okay. And these are the superglobals that you have available. Okay. Later on in this tutorial, in this series of my PHP tutorials, I'm going to show you how to use them. Okay. Not all of them, but probably we will use the get superglobal, the post superglobal, the cookie, the session, because we're going to learn how to use sessions, and possibly the request as well. Okay, so I'm going to leave that for later on. And basically this is it. I just want you guys to know that you have a list here in php.net with these globals, these global variables or superglobal variables. And you can click in one or in any one of them, and you will get a description and a very clear example or many examples of how they work. But probably this at this point these examples would be a little bit confusing for you. So basically, this video is to remind you that the super globals work as built-in variables, okay, that exist in PHP. And later on, you'll get many times to see this kind of variables. Get, the post, the files not so much. The request, you'll see a lot of times this variable. The session, you'll see a lot of times this variable as well. We're going to use that a lot, and the cookie as well. Okay, but let's leave that for later on. So this is it. Basically, this is what predefined variables are. Okay, and that's it. In the next video, we are going to learn what constants are. Okay, so see you guys in the next video, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye. Hello guys, and welcome to my video tutorial number 9 on PHP. And in this video, we're going to talk about constants. Okay, so constants are basically predefined. They work like variables. Okay, so we can say pretty much that they are predefined variables that hold a default value in it, okay, or a function. So I'm in php.net here. You can go to the same page where I am now. Type php.net/manual/en/language.constants.predefined.php, and you'll have here magic constants. You'll have here a list of constants that you can use by default. They all have by default a value stored in it, okay, and they all they are used to do something specific. Okay, you can read the description here of each constant and what they do. So I'm going to give you a little example of how constants work. And as I told you before, constants basically are and work the same as variables. Okay, they hold a value, and then we can echo that constant, okay, if we want to, and we will output a value or the value in it. So let's type. We can type or we can build new constants if we want to. Okay, so let's define a new constant. And to start, we have to type the word define, okay? And parentheses, open and close parentheses, and end the line with semicolon. And inside the parentheses, let's type double quotes. And now let's type, let's give the name to the constant, okay? So here we define the name we want to give to the constant. I'm gonna call it Peter, okay, comma, and now we define whatever value we want to give to that constant, okay. So you see that basically works like a variable, okay. So now I want the constant Peter to have the value of the string hello Peter, okay. So this is the name of the constant, and this is the value that the constant holds, okay. So now we have a defined constant called Peter, and for example I want to echo now the constant Peter, so I type echo, and now I type Peter without double quotes and semicolon. Let's save this and let's run this to see if it works, and it works. Okay, hello Peter. So what's the difference between constants and variables. Okay, because until now pretty much it's the same, right? So the difference is that once we define a constant, in this case Peter, with the string hello Peter, we cannot later on in the code redefine that same value. Okay, we cannot change the value of Peter. The value, once it's defined, it's always going to be that value. Okay, and cannot be changed later on in the code. So for example, if now I want to redefine the constant Peter to some other string like hi, and I echo Peter, let's see what happens. Refresh, and we have an error saying constant Peter already defined in line 6. Let's see if it's true. In line 6, it's the error. Okay, the Peter constant is already defined in line 4, and we have a result here which is hello Peter, which is the first time we defined the constant Peter, the first value we gave it. Okay, so you see, we cannot change once we define for the first time, we cannot change later on the code Peter, the constant Peter again. And that's the difference with variables, because variables, I want to show you an example. We can change variables or redefine the value of variables later on in the code. If we had a variable name u equals, let's put the same thing, Peter equals hello world, now I echo Peter world, there it is, hello world, and now I want to redefine Peter again with some other string, hi, and see if the result is hi, and it is. Okay, so a variable, you can change a variable whenever you want the value of it. Okay, and the constant you cannot. Okay, so let's see if we can change some. We can change the third time. And let's type Peter. Let's refresh. There it is. Okay, so you can change the value of a variable every time you want and anywhere you want in the code. Okay, so that's it. That's it for this video. You can now know what constants are and how they work. But if you want to go deeper in the subject, you can search more in the php.net or w3schools.com. Okay, guys, if you have any questions at all, just send me a message, and see you guys in the next video. Bye. Guys, to go to php.net again. Okay, let's go to documentation, English, and let's go down here and let's see operators here. Okay, and in operators we have a lot of different types of operators, but I want you guys to mainly remember the arithmetic operators. Okay, and you can bookmark this page because you will need to consult this page a lot of times, okay, throughout our course. So you have here arithmetic operators, which are the same basically that we use in JavaScript as well. Okay, so we have the sum here, or the addition operator, the subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus. Okay, so when we start doing some if statements, I think in the next video we will start doing some if statements, or how to use if statements in PHP. We will start using some operators like these ones, okay, here. So I want you guys to remember or to bookmark this page, and also here in comparison operators, okay, bookmark this page as well. We will talk about these operators later on in the next video, okay, when we start doing some if statements. The bitwise operators as well are important for you to remember, okay, so bookmark this page as well. And for last, the logical operators, okay. So these are the four different kind of operators or type of operators that we will use in my tutorials, in the next few tutorials, okay. So let's go now to open Notepad++, and I want to talk about some other thing, which is the concatenate, okay. So to concatenate two strings in PHP, we use the dot symbol. Okay, so you remember that in JavaScript we used the plus symbol to concatenate two strings, and now in PHP we use this symbol right here, okay, dot. And I'm going to show you a little example. So let's start and make a variable. Let's call the variable job equals, let's say, developer. Okay, and now let's echo, let's say, hi, my name is Victor, I am a space, okay. And now after the double quotes, type dot and the variable job, okay, and semicolon. Let's save this, and let's open the browser. Let's type localhost. Remember your file, okay, has to be in the XAMPP/htdocs directory, okay, and don't forget to start your XAMPP control panel, okay, run Apache and run Mysql. So my file is vars.php, enter, and there it is. Hi, my name is Victor, I am a developer. Okay guys, so this is how we concatenate either strings or integers or variables, okay, in PHP. In JavaScript we used the sum symbol, but in PHP remember that you have to use the dot symbol, okay. So also another thing I want to talk to you about is the precedence of operators, and this is basically the importance of operators and how they work in a calculation. For example, let's type 1 plus 5 and multiply it by 3, semicolon. Let's echo this calculation, and let's see the result. The result is 16, okay, but if you pay attention, this shouldn't be 16, okay, this should be 18, because 1 plus 5 is 6, 6 multiplied by 3 is 18, right? The thing is that PHP, when it sees a calculation like this, PHP goes first or calculates first the most important operator, okay? And the most important operator for PHP here between the sum symbol and the multiply symbol is the multiply symbol, okay? So PHP reads this like reads this first, okay, 5 by 3, which is 15, and then plus 1, 16, okay? So basically this is how priorities of operators work. The priority first for PHP is the multiplication and then the sum, okay? If you guys want to see the list of the most important or how important is a symbol in PHP, or what symbol PHP reads first when it calculates, you can go to php.net and search for a list called Precedence of Operators, or Operators Precedence, and you'll get the list, okay, where you'll get the order of the importance of symbols or operators in PHP, okay? So you'll probably see there that multiplication is higher than the sum symbol, okay? So basically this is it for this video, and in the next video we'll start with the if statements or if else statement, and we will use some of the operators we learned in this video, okay? Don't forget, I hope you guys bookmarked those pages that I told you in php.net with the operators, because you will have to use them in some of the videos that we will do, okay? So see you guys later, and if you guys have any questions, just send me a message, okay? See you guys, bye. Hello guys, and welcome to my video number 11 on my PHP series, and this video I'm going to show you how to use the if statement and the else if statement. So to start, let's build two variables. Variable x, let's give it a value of 1, and variable y, and a value of 2. Now let's type our first if statement. Type if, parenthesis, and below curly braces, and let's give it a space here, okay? And inside the curly braces, let's type echo, and let's type x is less than y. And now inside the parentheses, we have to type our condition, okay? And the condition, for the condition we're going to use the variables x, an operator, a comparison operator, which is the less than, and now let's type the y variable, okay? So the condition says that if x is less than y, okay? So if the variable x is less than y, whatever code is inside the curly braces has to run, okay? So PHP will run the code here, okay, whatever code is inside the curly braces, if this condition is true, okay guys? And at this point the condition is true because 1 is less than 2, okay? And the value of x is 1 and the value of y is 2, okay? So this condition is correct and this should run. Let's try to see if the if statement runs. Let's run this in the browser. Don't forget guys to run your XAMPP, okay? Localhost test. There it is. X is less than y, okay? So the code runs because the condition is true. But what about if the condition is false? Because if I change the value here, instead of 1 I type 2, so now x is not less than y, okay? Because they have the same value, and the condition is not true, it's false. So let's see if the con still runs. It doesn't run, okay? So if we want to put, if we want to echo some other message, in the case that the condition is false, we have to type else and curly braces and some code here. Echo, let's echo, for example, x is not less than y. Let's save that. And now, if we refresh that, the else code runs. Okay? So, whenever you want to run a code, if the condition is false, you have to type at the end else, curly braces, and whatever code you want to run. Okay, guys? So, another statement you can use is the else if statement. And it works basically like if you use another if. Okay? So, else if, and then you have to type the parenthesis to type a new comparison or a new condition to see if that condition is true as well. So let's type x, and instead of repeating the same condition, okay, we do another a new condition, which is x. If x is bigger than y, run this code below here. Okay, and the code will say x is bigger than y. And let's see now if this works. Okay, so to see this work, we have to change, let's see, we have to place, instead of 2, let's give a value of 1 to the y variable. And now this condition is false, but this one here is true. Okay, so this code will run. Let's see, and there it is. X is bigger than y. Okay, perfect. We can still use the else statement at the end. Okay, in the case that none of these conditions is true. Okay, if all of the conditions are false, this else code will run. And we're gonna run this code here saying echo, and we'll say x is not bigger or less than y. Okay, and to run this code, we have to change this, and now we have a same value of x and the same value of y, so none of these two conditions is correct. Okay, this is false and this is false, so this code is the one that we will see running in our browser. There it is. X is not bigger or less than y. Okay, guys, so that's basically how else if and if statements work. Okay, and if you guys have any questions, just send me a message. Okay, I can give you other examples of if statements if you want to. Okay, so just play a little bit more with the code, and you'll see that you'll get the idea how this works. Okay, guys, see you in the next video. Bye. Open Notepad and start doing some loops. So let's start to type a variable I equals 1 semicolon. And now to start a while loop, we have to type the word while, parenthesis, and inside the parenthesis, let's type variable I is less than or equal to 10. Okay, and below, let's type some curly braces, and inside the curly braces, let's type the loop or the code we want to run. Okay, to execute in loop. So let's type echo, and now let's type variable I, and let's type plus plus, and let's see what happens now in the browser. Let's refresh. and now we have a loop of 1 to 10. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Okay, so basically we can define how many times we want this code to run. Okay, and then we can make a loop for this code. Okay, so I mentioned here 10 times. So I is equal to 1. So while 1 is less than or equal to 10, we have to run 10 times this loop, this code, sorry. So if I change here to 5, it will show 1 to 5, a 1 to 5 loop here. See? So let's change this and let's make this different. Let's type the concatenate symbol, which is the dot. And now between double quotes, let's type a line break, HTML line break. And you'll see the result now, which is a list. Okay, instead of have the result in one line, we have a loop and listed. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is how we can make loops using the while loop. Okay, you can also, instead of using this type of loop, you can use the do while. Okay, which is we're going to do the same thing. Okay, but with the do while loop. So instead of while, let's delete this and type here do, and now we type here while parenthesis semicolon, and between the parentheses let's type the variable I is less or equal to 10. So while variable I is less or equal to 10, do this code here. Okay, run this code. So let's see the result, and it's pretty much the same thing, right? The only difference is instead of putting the while here at the beginning, at the top, we type do the code, this code here, while this condition is true. Okay, when it reaches to 10, you can stop running the code. Okay, or making the loop. So this is how you can build pretty simple loops with the while and while loop. Okay, so in the next video we are going to learn how to make also the for loop. Okay, which is pretty famous in PHP as well. So see you guys in the next video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel on Clay Tutorials. Bye. Hello guys, and welcome to my video number 13 on my PHP series. And in this video I'm going to show you how to do some more loops, the for loop and the for each loop. So let's start and let's type a variable, and let's call it variable I equals 1, semicolon. Now let's type here, we start typing for, and now parentheses, and inside the parentheses you have to type the variable I equals 1, semicolon. Now variable I is less or equal to 10, and semicolon, and I plus plus. Okay, and now we type the curly braces and the code that we will run. Let's type echo, let's type here the number is, and the name of the variable, I. Okay, so let's see the result of this. Let's refresh here. Let's refresh this. And we have the number is 1, all in the same line. I don't like this presentation. Let's change this. And let's put something here. Let's type, let's concatenate a line break at the end. Okay. And now it's ready. Let's save. Let's refresh, and there it is. Okay. The number is 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have a loop of 10 times the code, this code here. And the number changes for each time we aggregate or repeat the code. You see that we have, number 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we know that the variable I is equal to 1, right? So we are, this is a condition where we say if I equals to 1, or we state that I is equal to 1, and for each time I is less or equal to 10, we repeat or aggregate one more time this code here. Okay, so basically we are repeating this code for 10 times, or until it reaches the value of 10. Okay, so if I change this to 15, you'll see that we will have 15 repetitions of this code, right? Okay, so this is how we make a loop with the for loop. Okay, and I'm going to show you now the for each loop. The for each, we use the for each to loop an array. Okay, so logically we have to build an array first. Okay, so let's type, let's change the variable, let's call it x, and now let's build an array, and let's type here, say Alex, and now let's type Victor, and let's type here John. Okay, we have an array with 3 values. Okay, 3 names, Alex, Victor, and John. And now I want to echo with the for each loop. I want to echo this array. Okay, all the values in the array. So I have to type for each. Let's take this out, and inside the parentheses we're gonna type for each the name of the variable as, and now let's type value. Okay, and now we have to echo value, and let's type let's concatenate a line break. Okay, and semicolon. So let's see if this works. Let's see the result here, and there it is. Okay, whatever is as data inside our array, okay, whatever strings we have or integers inside our array, they will be echoed in our page. Okay, so you see Alex, Victor, John in the same order, Alex, Victor, and John. So this is a way, a very cool and simple way to output the values, to see all the values that we have in an array. Okay, so this is how you use the for each for arrays. And if you guys have now any questions at all, just send me a message as always. And if you don't have questions, that's great. Okay, That means that you understood everything. So see you guys on the next video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Bye. Hello guys, and welcome to my video tutorial number 14. And in this video I'm going to show you how to use the switch. Okay, so to start we have to build a variable. So variable I equals to, let's say, 0, semicolon. And now we have to type switch parentheses. Inside the parentheses you type the name of the variable, okay, I. And now below you have to type curly braces, give it a space. And let's type now case. Okay, this means that in case of the variable that we have here between the parentheses, in case of that variable has the value of 0, okay, we have to type now the colon here, colon sign, and we have to type echo the variable is 0, semicolon. And we have to type here break, semicolon. Okay, so basically switch works to use different conditions, okay, of values. And for each condition, if that condition is true, we run this code here. Okay, so it's like if we had a lot of if statements here inside. So let's make another condition, which is in case that variable I is equal to 1, we echo the variable is 1, semicolon, and at the end we have to type break. Okay, remember you have always to type the word break at the end. Let's do some more conditions. In case that variable has value 2, echo the variable, the variable is 2. Okay, and you can go on and go on, and you can do whatever number of conditions you want. Okay, it's limitless. Okay, so you can, let's break now here this. Okay, let's save this. So let's run now the code and see the results. So for now I is 0, so this code should run. Okay, let's see if this works. The variable is 0. Okay, perfect. Okay, but if we change this to 1, save, let's refresh, there it is, the variable is 1. Okay, and let's try the 2. Oops, if we change this to 2, save, the variable is 2. Okay, perfect. Instead of numbers, we can also use strings. Okay, so let's type here my name, Victor, and let's type, in case that the variable has a value of a string Victor, okay, echo welcome Victor. In case that has a string John, we type welcome John. And in case that has a string nothing, for example, we can type you don't have a name, or something like that. Okay, so if I leave this in blank, let's see, you don't have a name. Okay, but if I type Victor, welcome Victor. Okay, and if I type John, save it, welcome John. Okay, so you see it's pretty this is going to be pretty useful when you have a lot of for example users, or if you have a lot of different conditions or different messages that you want to output depending on the condition. Okay, if it's true or if it's false. Okay, so you remember that with if statements we had the else, okay, at the end, that we could use to output a message in case of none of the conditions that we typed were true, right? If all of those fail and were false, the code inside the else would run. And we have another word or syntax that we can use in the switch, okay, that does the same thing as else, okay, which is default. And default basically is whenever all the conditions are wrong or false, okay, the default code will run. And the default code is you have to register or something like that, whatever. Okay, let's type here. So let's type, for example, let's change this, and you are not registered. Let's say this. And if I type here, for example, Alex, okay, Alex is not in any of the cases here, okay. So if I type Alex as the value, I refresh, and you are not registered. Okay, guys. So this is how switch works. If you have any questions at all, just send me a message. But I think it's pretty simple, and this is one of my favorite expressions or methods to use in PHP for different if conditions. Okay, if I have to type if a lot of if conditions, I use the switch. Okay, so see you guys in the next video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel on Click Tutorials. Okay, bye. Hello guys, and welcome to my 17th video tutorial on my PHP series. And in this video we are going to start to use forms. Okay, this is a very important it's a very important subject on PHP because we will use forms a lot of times. Okay, and every time you have to build a registering form or login, we will use this kind of process. So to start, you have to build two different PHP files. So you can create a form.php and process.php. Okay, you can name those files like this: form and process. Now remember that you have to create those files in the XAMPP/htdocs directory. Okay, so now in form.php we are going to build a simple web page, okay, HTML with a form in it. Okay, so to start, let's type HTML tag head. Let's close head. You can type title if you want to. I'm going to type here form. And now body. Close body. Close HTML. And inside body we type form. And close the form. Okay. So now we have our web page ready, and we have to create a form. Okay. So inside between the form tags, or before we type anything inside the form tags, we have to type form, give it a space here, and then you type the method equals double quotes. Now the method means what is the way that you're going to use to send your information, and you can use either get or post, but we usually use post, okay, and form. So you can type post, and now we have to type action equals, and action means what is or where do you want to send these values to, okay? And you have to type a name of the file that has the PHP script, okay, to process those values. And our file that will process those values is process.php. So we type here process.php. Okay, let's save that, and now let's build and create our form. So let's type a name in it. I want also an email, and for example, address, and then I can type password and confirm password. Okay, so here I need an input. I hope you guys remember how to use and how to build inputs in HTML. If you don't remember, you can go back to my HTML tutorials and search there how to build forms or how to build inputs there. So input type equals text, name equals name. Now another input type equals text, name equals email. So in the name field you have to type the same, or you should type in this case the same value that you have here, either email address or password. Okay. Type equals text, name equals address, and now input type equals not text, you have to type password. Okay, and name is password, and now input type equals password, password, name, you can type confirm password. Why do we type password here instead of text? Because if we type text, you will see your password. The password will not be hidden. And if you type password, as we did here, in your password field will appear like this. Okay, whatever you type, it will appear with these symbols to hide your password. Okay, so let's type password. For security reasons, it's better to do this way. Okay, so let's save this, and here at the end you can type the button submit. So to do that button, you type input type submit space name, you can give it submit, and value, which is the value that you want to appear inside the button, the submit button. It's submit as well. So I think that's it. Our form is complete, and we still have to do a line break here for each. I'm gonna copy those, paste here, paste another, and paste another. And you can type here as well P, okay, for paragraph, to give it a more space, a little bit more space there. Okay, so let's open this in the browser and see our form, how it's presented. So you have to go localhost and form. localhost/form.php, and here it is, our form. Okay, so we have the name here. We can type. Let's type Victor, an email, whatever email you want, blah blah blah, hotmail.com, an address, whatever address, New Street 4. The password, you can type 12345, confirm 12345. Okay, but don't submit yet because we don't have anything in the PHP. Okay, if we submit this, the values will be sent to process.php, you see here, but it doesn't happen anything because we don't have any script in our file process. Okay, so to do something here, let's echo all the values that we sent in our form. Okay, to do that, we type echo. Now we type post, which is a system variable, okay, PHP variable that we use to get all the values or whatever values you want from your form. So in here, between these symbols, we have to type the value of the name, okay, either name, email, address, or password, and that will get your values that then you will type in your forms. Whatever you type there, whatever I type here, it's going to be name. This is going to be value email, okay, and these are the names that we have to put in here inside with the post variable. Okay, so the first name is name. Let's echo the second. Oops. The second is email. The third is address. And the fourth is address as password. Password. And the last one is confirm password. So let's save this and let's see what's happened. So we have to complete this 1 2 3 4 5, confirm password 1 2 3 4 5, submit, and we have all our values echoed. Okay, but I want to change this, and let's give it a break. Oops. Concatenate a break line tag, and it will be more presentable to the web page. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this. Okay, paste, save it, refresh. There it is. Okay, so these are the values that we type in the form. Okay, they are sent to the process.php, and then in the process.php we do with those values whatever we want. Okay, so in this case I echoed the values to see the values, whatever values I want. But you can do whatever you want with the values. Store those values in a database that I will teach you how to do that later on in the course with Mysql database. But this is how we send and get values in forms with PHP. Okay, this is a pretty simple example, but it will get a lot complex in later videos. Okay, guys? So now you know how to build a simple form and how to process the values of the form in a PHP script in other PHP file. Okay, so this is all for this video, and if you have any questions at all, just send me a message. Okay, see you guys. Bye. Hey guys, what's up? This video is the 18th video of PHP, and in this video I'm gonna use the same files from the last video, form.php and process.php, and we're gonna build a script here in process.php to output different kind of error messages. Okay, in case that we don't fill any of these values of the form. Okay, so if I don't type anything in the name and I click the button submit, I'm going to type a script here that outputs a message saying you forgot to fill your name in the form. Or if I don't type anything in the email, I would echo a message saying you forgot to fill in the email. Okay. In case of the passwords, in this case, the passwords have to match, right? Because you type the password first, and then you have to confirm it. So they have to match. In case that they don't match, I'm gonna say another message. I'm gonna echo another message saying your password doesn't match. Please confirm the new password. Okay. So this is going to be a little bit more advanced from the scripts that we did, the simple scripts we did from the last videos. So pay attention, okay? So let's start and type if parenthesis, and inside parenthesis we have to type this variable, PHP variable that you already know. Okay, this is to get the values that we want. So I want to get the first value is the name. So post, the name is name, and now let's type open curly braces and close curly braces, and now we type here if, another if statement. Okay, saying post, and inside here I'm going to type the address, right? I think it was the address. Let me see. Email. Okay. Now another if statement, post, and the next is address, open curly braces, close curly braces, give a little space, and now is if post parenthesis, And now I think it's time for the password. Yes. Okay. And now you have to type password. Let's type password. Curly braces. And now let's type if post and confirm password. And for last, we are going to type if, one more if statement, which is the if if password equals exactly to confirm password, then we type here echo your password, your form has been sent successfully. Okay. So what I'm building here is for each value that I have in my form, I have to type a different if statement. Okay? And the if statement says basically if name is filled up or exists. Okay? If you typed a name, go on to the next line of code, and the next line is if you typed as well an email, go to the next line. Okay, so basically you can think this as authorizations that you give to your PHP code or to your user. Okay, and the values, if name is filled up, go to see if or check if email is filled up. It is. If it is, go to address. It is. If address, email, and name are filled, go to password. Confirm password. If it is, confirm password. If password confirm is also typed, confirm if password, okay, is equal to confirm password. Okay, this means that confirm if whatever you type in here is equal to whatever you typed in here. Okay, if it is, okay, it means that you all these checked up if statements are true or correct. At the end, you'll see a message saying your form has been sent successfully. Okay, now we also have for each if any of these conditions are false, okay, or they check up and they are not filled up, okay, we have to build some messages to send to the user, okay, if any problem emerges, okay. So, for example, this if statement here, you see that Notepad++ already did a correspondent closing curly braces. Okay, so this curly brace, closing curly brace, corresponds to to this if statement. So here we have to type else and type curly braces here, and else we type the else statement to this if statement. Okay, and the correspondent message is echo confirm password. So this is if I don't have any confirmed password. So I have to type echo or echo you or your confirmed password. Sorry. You have to type, or you have to confirm your password. Okay. Here I have to type as well an else statement in case that the password is not doesn't match the confirmed password. So let's type here echo your password doesn't match. Doesn't match. Okay. So now we have the else statements, the else statement which belongs to this if statement. This else statement belongs to this. Okay. And now the next one is for the password here. That's right. Else. And here let's type echo or echo you have to type a password. You have to type a password. The next is address here, else echo and type you have to type an address. And the last one is, I think, now it's the name. So else, or the email, sorry. Echo you have to type an email. And last one is the name. So echo you have to type name. Okay, so that's it. Let's give a space here. And for last, we have echo. Okay, so this is pretty much it. Let's also take out here, oops, the spaces here, 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 and here. Maybe for a lot of you guys, this is this now is a little bit confusing, but this is how we make a script. Okay, Two, for each and every time that you don't type something in your form, you will have an error message, okay? Remembering that you have to fill up whatever you forgot to fill, okay, in your form. Now, I want to confirm that this script works perfectly, but I don't have time in this video, so we are running out of time, and we'll have to see if the code works in the next video. Okay, so see you guys in the next video, and let's hope that all this works. Okay, see ya. Hello guys, and welcome to my 19th video tutorial on PHP. And basically this video is a continuation from the last video that we did the script to my form, okay, to this form here. So I hope you guys have this already in your notepad, okay, these two files and the script. So I run the script to see if it worked, and it gave me some errors, okay, and I found that the error is because instead of parentheses here after the post variable, we have to type square brackets and not parentheses. Okay, so let's change that and put some square brackets in all the posts variables where the values are. Okay, so here and here, confirm password, and also in here. And that's it. Okay, let's save it, and let's go to the browser to see the form. So the form is in localhost form.php. Okay, so now we have the form and ready to go with the script ready to go as well. And if I click submit, a message will appear saying you have to type a name, okay, which is the message I have here. Okay, this message appears because the PHP code reads first the first line, which is the if statement, and this basically means that check if exists a name, or if a name exists in your form. Okay, and in my form the name is here, right? Because we gave the name. Okay, this other value is named email. Okay, and you see here in the second line the variable post has the value with the name email. Okay, so this is to check the name, this is to check the email if you have typed something in the email here. Okay, so it checks this one first, then it checks the email, and then the address, the password, and confirm password. Okay, see, if address exists, if password exists, if confirm password exists. At last, but not least, it checks if password, okay, is equal to confirm password. This means that it checks this value here, whatever you type in here, is equal the same as the value you type in here. Okay, and if all those conditions are correct and you typed all in those inputs, and at the end you type a password and you also type equal confirm password, you'll receive an echo message saying your form has been sent successfully. So let's try that. Also, for each time you don't type a name or an email, you have the correspondent else statement. Okay, so for example, this first one, okay, if you don't type anything in the name input, you'll have the else code running, which is an echo saying you have to type a name. Okay, you already saw that. If I submit, the first thing it appears, it's this code here. If, for example, I type a name, if I type a name, I submit, and this message appears. You have to type an email. Okay, so that message appears because I already typed a name. So PHP checks this one, this if condition as okay or true, and it goes to the next one. And the next one is email. So I don't type any email. So an else, the code which is in the else statement runs that says you have to type an email. So basically this is if this is true or if it's checked, the name is checked, go to the next line. If this is checked, go to the next line, go to the next line. So until it reaches this last one, okay, and echoes this. If for some reason you don't type an email or address, this code, the else code, will run, okay, and for each if statement you have an else, okay. So for this one, you see this these dots here, okay, they correspond to the else for each one of the conditions or the ifs. This if here, the else is correspondent is this one here, okay. So for this one, the address one is this one here, okay. So that's pretty much how the script works, okay. And you have a lot of if conditions or statements with a lot of else's, and an else for each of the ifs, okay. So let's type an email now. If I type submit, the address, it asks me for the address. Let's type an address, whatever, the 3rd Street. And now let's type password 12345 12345. I submit, and that's it. I received the message saying your form has been sent successfully. Okay, perfect. So every each if statement has checked as okay or true until it reached this echoes, the final if statement, which is the comparison between the first password and the confirmed password, and then echo. If, for example, what do you think if the password is not equal to the confirmed password? If I type a password and then I confirm it with another password, we would receive this else code here, which says echo, your password doesn't match. Okay, so let's try that. So I have here a password 12345, and here let's type 123. Submit, and there it is. Your password doesn't match, or your passwords don't match. It's better. So let's see that. Let's go back. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2. Submit. Your passwords don't match. Okay, perfect. So the code only runs, or this message only will run if all the if statements are correct. So they are. Let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Submit. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whatever. And that's it. And that's how basically the script works. Or you can build your own script with your own conditions or if statements, and your own strings or messages, error messages. Okay, you can change these messages whenever you want. So that's it. The code works perfectly. In the next videos, we are going to start using the database, okay, the MySQL database. And so instead of taking the values from the form here and just echoing some messages, okay, I'm going to show you, and you'll learn how to take those values and insert those values into a database, okay, MySQL database. So you'll have that way you'll have the names or emails or address or passwords of your users into a database, into your own database, okay? And you will also, I'm also showing you how to change, for example, a password if you want to change a password, or how to confirm if, with a login, how to confirm if the password is correct, and build a login form to enter with your username and password, okay? So that's it, and hope you guys understood this, how this works. So see you guys in the next video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click tutorials, okay? Bye.
Hello guys, welcome to my 19th video tutorial on PHP. In this video tutorial I'm going to explain you how we use the get and post methods to send information with PHP to the database, okay, or from the form to a database. Otherwise you'll not be able to send any kind of information. So every time you use a sending method, you have to choose either to choose get or post. Now, to do that and to see that in action, we need to create a form. And so let's create a file. I already have my file here. I'm going to name it form1.php, and inside the form, open form tag, let's type method, and now we have to choose either get or post. Let's leave it with post for now. And now action is where it's going to be processed, or where the information in the form is going to be sent to which PHP file. So I'm going to type here process form.php, and now let's type, for example, name. Let's create an input type equals text, name, this can be name, close it. Here we can do email, for example, and okay, that's enough. Name and email. You can type more inputs if you want to, more information for the user to type, but this will do for now. And here, let's change this for email. Let's type here a line break, and here another line break. And down here, you can type P for paragraph, and type an input, which is going to be the submit button to send the information on the form. Now here we type name, submit, and value, which is whatever we want to see in the button written. I want to see send. We can type that, send. And I think we are done. Let me check this in the browser. Make sure you have your XAMPP control panel with Apache and MySQL running. And let me go here. Yes, I have mine running. And let me open Chrome. Let me check localhost, and this is going to be form1.php. There it is. Okay, so we now have our form, And now if I click, you'll see that in the URL it changes to processForm.php, which is the action, okay, the file that I choose to put in the action. So that's when we click the button submit, the action is going to be processForm.php. Now this file doesn't exist yet, so let's create it, and it's going to be a PHP file. And now we're gonna retrieve, let's say I want to retrieve the information of the name and the let me check the name, echo, it's going to be post. Let me just save the file first. So this is process form.php. There it is. Okay, so I want to echo whatever we type in the name and in the email. So I'm going to type echo, and now we use the predefined variable or global variable post to receive or to grab the information in the name. So we have to type this thing here, which is name, to identify that input. And I also want to echo out the email. So you can either type here echo post, or just make and concatenate here the other post. But let's type another echo. So echo post on there, and here is email. Okay, so we have two echoes. Hopefully this will output as soon as we click submit. This will output the name and email that we typed in the form. Okay, let me check that. Okay, let's go back. Let me type Victor, and here email, let's type Victor. Yeah, send. Okay, there it is. So we have Victor, and well, this is not very presentable, so I'm gonna type here name. Okay, inside you have to put name inside double quotes because it's going to be HTML. And now we type concatenate. Let's leave it a space here, and here we now type dot, and let's concatenate line break, so it breaks. And here we can type email space concatenate, pretty much do the same thing. That should be enough. Let's go back, refresh, and there it is. Okay, so the name is Victor, the email is this one here. So please pay attention to the URL. Let's refresh. So when I type Victor and I typed the email, I click send. Pay attention here. I click send. The process form, the URL changes, and now the file is the processform.php that we have. So this is the output of this code here, because post variable grabbed the input name that we send, and the post email grabbed the input email that we send. Now if we do the same thing but with get and save, first of all, if we go back and refresh and type the same thing and click send, first of all we have the thing you'll notice is that we have an error, because when you choose get in the method in the form, you have to choose get in here as well as the variable. Okay, now let's try again. Refresh and Victor send. Okay, now everything is working fine. Now that's there is a little or a big difference if you look at the URL. Okay, so now in the URL, instead of only form.php, we have a bunch of information here after this symbol here, which is the question mark, and we have the name equals to Victor, then and the email equals to Victor Cruz Bastos at mail, whatever, and submit, send, whatever. Okay, all the information that you post or in this case you use in the inputs to send, it's now here public and anybody can see it. Okay, so the get method sends the information in the URL, and the post method doesn't show the information that you are sending. Now, when to choose get or post? So usually nowadays everybody's using or the majority of websites are using post because it's a lot secure. This is not secure at all. Even then, we can also make encode this, and I'm going to show you later on in the course how to encode get strings or get variables here in the URL. I'm going to show you how to do that, but using post is a lot secure because nobody can see this. The thing that the problem is that if you want the user to save this or bookmark this, okay, let's say he's going to enter a website, and if he saves this as a bookmark, okay, with all this information, the name, the password, and the email, the user enters the website as soon as he clicks the bookmark, this bookmark, because everything is saved here, even the password. Now, with the post, you cannot bookmark, or if you bookmark, you will not enter because nothing will be saved or will be shown in the URL. Okay, only the name of the file, which is this one here. So that's an option you have to make. Either you want to all the information to be public, so the user can also bookmark, or use the method post to hide all the information in the URL. Okay, but the user will not be able to bookmark the page. Now, another thing is that also with the get method, you have a character limit here in the inputs. The get method only or limits the input to 200 characters. So let's say you have a text area and you type more than 200 characters, that message or the input you type 200, that will not be sent. Okay, it's a characters limit that the get method has. The post method doesn't have any limit, so you can type as many characters as you want in the inputs. Okay, so that's the drawback in the get method. I usually use post method, but the get method, we will also use the get method in some situations in our course, in our videos, in this course, but normally I would use post method. Now I'm going to talk about another thing that you can use, which is the request variable. The request variable is something that we type in here, and the request, the difference between get, post, and request here in this PHP script or in this variables is that request holds either post, okay, post method, or the get method. Okay, either get method or post method here in the form. The request here will grab any kind of information you are sending in that form. Okay, so if you type some forms in the beginning of the project and you don't remember if you typed get or post, you can always choose the request variable. So either you put post or method, or post or get. The request will grab those values. This is all for now for this video. Now you know how get, post, and request works. And if you have any questions, just send me a message or post your comments in the comment section. And see you guys in the next video. Bye.